Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd also like to ask individuals that I call out here in a minute to stand to be recognized, starting with NENA Hall of Fame members. NENA past presidents. Emergency number professionals. Center Manager Certification Program graduates or CMCP. And any first-time attendees. If you guys can just stay standing or at least raise your hand, Jameson's got a small gift for you guys as you walk around. And then National NENA board members. So move on. I'll ask for a approval of the minutes from previous membership meeting that have been posted online. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Second. All in favor? And then Jameson, if you take this and do the treasury report.
In our Wells Fargo checking account, we have $800.20 in the Wells Fargo saving, $4,007.56. In Civic checking, $15,819.02. Wellness checking at Civic is $2,647.63. And money market at Civic is $50,407.12 for a total of $73,681.53.
All right. Moving on to the kind of a quick president's report. I don't want to steal any of their thunder for the rest of the board as they're going to be giving reports as going through, but I want to assure you that all members of the NENA board and all of our committees have been working super hard all year. Kind of rallying from our wellness retreat last year, just the work and the impacts that has already made happen, not only in North Carolina, but we have sent care packages from coast to coast to multiple states reaching out to us and say, we want to be like North Carolina, has been really gratifying to see. And so without saying too much about what else they've been doing, I'll let them talk about it, but I just want to take a minute and say thank you guys for all your hard work, not only on behalf of the NENA board, but for all PSAPs and telecommunicators in the state. Great job, and I'm excited for the rest of this year and the years to come. So thank you for all your hard work. All right, moving on to Donna, the North Carolina 911 board and legislative report.
Good morning, everyone. The board has met. We've taken care of a few items such as updating a definition for training. That was part of legislation that was included in the new updated policy. The board is also busy knee deep in updating its 911 state plan. And I'm gonna hold something from Ms. Mel over here from her perspective, but standards is also working on a very large project starting in January, where we're required by the Rules Commission every 10 years to validate the rules or administrative codes that we all function under. So we have a small subcommittee getting together to compare what's on our administrative code to legislation and trying to make sure we're validating those as well. And I'll be happy to answer any other questions for anyone that may have them. And as far as legislation, we're still waiting on a budget from the state, so nothing's moved since.
Good news is the rumor out of Raleigh says the budget will pass this afternoon, so we shall see what happens. All right, and Melanie, I'll get to you in just a minute. And commercial advisory report, Gary, is it okay if I just let you handle all that in the APCO side? And then is Brandy online for the SWIFT report? All right, Brandy, if you'd like to unmute, go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting me. I'd like to first give a giant shout out to the Guilford Metro 911 Center. We had a recent TERT deployment to Orange County with fairly short notice, and Guilford Metro really stepped up and carried the load on that one, along with Raleigh Wake and NCEM, sending personnel to that center to help cover them during their time of grieving. So I really appreciate Guilford Metro for that. We recently completed Comms Week, as I'm sure most of you are aware, to astounding success from the point of view from a exercise. We are in the upcoming planning phase for a new COMEX that will be a fully functional exercise that we're planning to run in Chatham County in late March, early April, still in the early planning phases of that. We're also working with Jason Compton and NENA by proxy as a addition of a critical incident stress debrief or critical incident stress management component to the INTD TERT class that we'll be teaching. We've built a SAR comms add-on to most of the positions. We would like to add a critical incident stress debrief piece to those as well, so that people who are deployed to 911 centers or areas where there's devastation have some tools in their toolbox to be able to help those that have been affected by a disaster. We are also working on some information sharing pathways for the PSAPs to be able to share information with one another that is kind of a candid environment, so to speak, so that if somebody needs to know what the best chair is for someone to sit in for 12 hours, someone could talk about that in that kind of environment. Obviously not anything in the lane of where the 911 board's purview is. Also, I want to recommend that all of the 911 centers or communications people out there consider that the TDMA deadline is quickly approaching. If you have not moved forward with purchasing new radios or having your existing radios updated as necessary, that deadline's 2025. And most radio manufacturers are working on a 10 to 12 month deadline. So you are literally at 0 hour if you have not moved forward with those things. And that's all I have from the SWIC House, pending any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you so much for being willing to work with North Carolina NENA. We appreciate you and Greg and Amanda and your entire team down there. So thank you for all the good work you guys have been doing as well. All right, I will jump down to the committee reports and let Brian Drum
Good morning.
Flip the switch.
Say what?
You have to turn it on.
See, I've got a big mouth. Doesn't matter. Good morning. So the Western Region report, Candy Miller from Iredell County reports that Iredell continues to work through implementing the countywide simulcast system on the statewide Viper system. They are moving to the EFD protocol software and expect to be fully operational by October. On a personal note, she would like, many of you may know Bill Jeter. His wife, Sarah, passed away on September the 5th at the age of 56, losing her battle to brain cancer. Her arrangements will take place on September 23rd. Please keep Bill and his family in your thoughts and prayers. They have hired their first apprentice in their new apprentice program, with several applications still being processed, and the program so far has went very well. Brent Roberts and Scott Lambert from Gaston reports that they have recently had 4 CPR saves. They have also recently been able to adjust their hourly rate from $19.88 an hour to $21.55 an hour. They currently have 6 vacancies out of 62, which in today's world is doing pretty good. They have recently had 4 telecommunicators receive their advanced TC certification from Training and Standards. These TCs will receive an annual bonus of $600 for the remainder of their career at Gaston County. They are switching to the state's hosted 911 call handling solution on October 18th. Bill Southers with Charlotte Fire reports that they've had a busy few weeks hosting comms-related training. Charlotte Fire hosted a dispatcher symposium at the training academy. The dispatcher symposium is a 3-day conference with guest speakers and presenters with topics that include dispatcher wellness, leadership, retention, center operations, tactical field communications. They had 60 people registered to participate from across the state and as far away as Idaho. Charlotte Fire and North Carolina EM hosted Disaster Communications School. It's 5-day accreditation school and field exercise courses include communications unit leader, communications technician, incident, tactical dispatch and TERT, information technology services, unit leader, and auxiliary communications. Over 90 people attended from North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina. Amber Kleppe from Hendersonville PD reports that Blue Ridge Community College will be offering a Sheriff Standards course in October. The class will be hosted by Hendersonville Police Department. If you have anyone that would like to go, you can contact Amber. And a pretty cool thing, they have a new member of their team. They have adopted a cat. Her name is, she's approximately 4 years old, and she stays in the center 24/7. Her name is Ash, and that was highly debated, but they settled on it since the cat was found astray on Ash Street in the PD's parking lot. She's extremely loving, and everyone in the center has pitched in to welcome her into their family, including the law enforcement officers, and it has had a positive impact on the whole department. Chandra Morgan reports that they currently have 3 full-time openings. Shavella Bailey from the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians reports that they have a new member to their team, Emily Williams. She comes from Graham County. She has been a wonderful addition to their staff, and they are now currently fully staffed. They are finally seeing some progress in their backup center, although the space is small. They have a 2-seat physical backup PSAP. They're planning on having it completed in December of this year. And the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians has elected Michelle Hicks as the new principal chief. They have also elected several new council members. This may or may not impact their daily travel operations, but they look forward to the changes that are forthcoming. Bill Gibbs from Lincoln reports that they continue to make progress on their CAD project. And they're gonna start their consulate replacement plan starting after the first of the year. And on a personal note for Bill, I'm just glad to be able to get a report from Bill because he was in the hospital for approximately 2 months and he's just now getting back to work. So glad to be getting a report from him. Mr. President, that's all I have.
Ashley. So,
I'm gonna be giving the Central Region report for Corey. Kyle Thaggard with High Point 911 reports. They would like to congratulate Megan Yin for completing her basic telecommunicator training. They currently have 5 vacancies. They've recently increased their starting salary to $44,737 or $21.50 per hour. During the first year, new employees will receive a 1.5% raise at their 3, 6, and 12-month anniversaries for a total increase of 4.5% in that first year, making their total salary after training $46,750 or $22.48 per hour. These salaries do not include the built-in overtime due to the 12-hour shift schedule. Once out of training, they offer a career ladder progression program, which employees will be eligible for promotion after 3 years from their date of hire for the rank of telecommunicator 2, and 5 years after earning the rank of telecommunicator 2, they'll be eligible for the rank of master telecommunicator. These non-competitive promotions come with a 5% salary increase in addition to their annual job performance increases. High Point is interested in career-minded individuals, thus the salary range, excluding the built-in overtime, for a High Point master telecommunicator is $51,790 to $88,796. Other benefits include a paid 1.25-hour meal break, tuition reimbursement program, 10 paid vacation days, 12 floating holidays, 12 sick days, a 401k with 3% city contribution, no cost, life insurance equal to their annual salary, and of course, state retirement, health, vision, and dental insurance. Individuals who are interested in a career at High Point can reach out to Kyle Thaggard. His phone number and email I will post in our notes. And finally, High Point would like to congratulate Steve Lingerfelt on his retirement. After 39 years of service, Steve will be retiring on October 1st, 2023. He began his career. Sorry, I didn't know you were in the room. Congratulations. I'm on the spot now. After 39 years of service, he began his career with High Point as a police officer, transitioning to the communications center, serving as the assistant director and ultimately becoming the director of IT services, which includes both the 911 division and the radio division for the city. High Point is proud to have such a great leadership over the past few decades. Congratulations, sir. Melanie Jones with Guilford Metro reports there's 20 vacancies in the 911 center right now, and they're still in contract with negotiations with the new CAD vendor. That's all.
Vic, are you still online with us?
Was on that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, speak loudly.
All
You're
right.
just coming through the
All right.
laptop.
Good morning, everybody. The Eastern Region reports, Hertford County, Felicia Gaston reports staffing continues to be a problem. Gates County, Don Abbott reports they have 2 full-time positions available. They have 5 new hires going to sheriff's training and standards. At Jones-Lenore County 911, Miranda Futrell reports 2 open positions working on a complete remodel to include all their furniture. They're implementing the Motorola Flex CAD system and the Motorola MC7500E. Craven County, Stanley Kite reports completing the Motorola MC7500E and preparing for the PSAP peer review. Carteret County, Jimmy Mathis reports 10 openings, having to push the renovation of the comm center back. In Currituck County, Mary Beth Newman reports 4 positions open and upgrading the radio system. Mr. President, that's the conclusion of my report.
Awesome. Thank you. Great reports from all over the state. As I just told Jason here, Bill French would be very, very proud of all your regional reps. Thank you for doing that. Melanie, would you like to do national meeting report?
Good morning. I'm not gonna read through all of these, I just highlighted everything so y'all won't get too nervous. The first thing that I want to highlight today is, we have 2 new EMPs in the state of North Carolina, and one of those is in our presence today. So Brett Ryan, if you'll stand up, please. Do you have anything you would like to say about the testing?
24 certs, NG core certs. That's a big piece of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, congratulations. So next up, the next conference that NENA has coming up is our Standards and Best Practices Conference. That is January the 15th through the 18th in Clearwater Beach, Florida. That's where it was last year, and we were all excited to go. And it was the coldest Sunday and Monday we've had in quite some time in Florida, so there was that. Then we have 911 Goes to Washington. That is coming up February the 25th to the 28th, and that is again in Arlington, Virginia. Then our National NENA Conference is June the 28th to July the 3rd in Orlando, Florida. NENA is proud to announce the launch of our new Transformative Empowerment and Mentoring Program, or TEAM program. Is a 6-month-long program where NENA will help empower future leaders of the 911 community to achieve personal and professional growth. You can learn more about it at nena.org/team. NENA has several varying membership categories, and we also have a newly redesigned website. So if you'll go to nena.org and play around in there, you can see a whole lot of new information and volunteer for committees and sign up to help out and volunteer in many different ways. One more thing to highlight. So the new board of directors was sworn in back in June at the annual conference, and Charles Cullen was sworn in as the president. And he announced his priorities for the year. They will be moving next generation 911 forward, seeing telecommunicators reclassified as a protective service occupation, furthering our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, addressing the 911 staffing crisis, and helping everyone in our community improve their wellness and resiliency. The NENA board has also reauthorized the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Special Committee and plans a bylaws amendment to make it a standing committee. Mr. President, that's my report.
Thank you. A few things I will add on Melanie's behalf is she mentions National NENA next year down in Orlando. And I think you said June 28th through July 3rd. Melanie will be sworn in as National NENA president at that conference. So I ask for each of you to find a way to be there. I would love to have a very large group from North Carolina at that conference for her. I think you should want to go to the national conference for professional development anyway. Those of you who have ever been know how valuable it is. But it's not often that we have someone from our own state being sworn in. So if anybody needs any information about that, please reach out to any of us or Melanie. If you're a front-end telecommunicator in this room or a manager, please pass to your frontline TCs. Every single year, there are unused scholarships to go to this conference for free. Please go online, get the information, and apply for it. They cannot tell you no without applying. So whether it's in your budget or not, there are a lot of grants out there, a lot of scholarships available to get you guys down to that conference. I will personally be Exhibit A to tell you that getting to a national conference is the best thing for your career ever. A lot of people don't realize the potential in the 911 industry and the amount of opportunities that are out there. As I see a lot of people in this room that owe their whole life and career by just simply getting involved with not only North Carolina NENA and APCO, but at the national level as well. I will add that the North Carolina NENA Wellness Team will also be participating highly at the conference next year as well as National NENA, and the National NENA Wellness Team is also committed to continue with the Wellness Pavilion in the vendor hall, which was a big hit last year, which they're even going to grow next year. So we can always use some extra hands and help with that as well. So if you find your way to the conference, please let us know, and we'll try to make sure that we have a screaming crowd there for you, Melanie. We're very proud of you and thankful to have you on the board. All right, real quick, just touch on the membership committee, to kind of extend on what I just said. If you are not a NENA member or an APCO member, please do yourself a favor and look into it. It is pennies on the dollar. If you're a frontline telecommunicator, I think it's $60 to be a member for the entire year now. Just from the simple networking and education that you're going to get through your email, it is a massive value add. There's a lot of free education. Webinar Wednesday specifically is one that comes to my mind that I even like joining in and just hearing either from other vendors or other industry experts as they're talking about critical topics and important topics all the way through legislation that National NENA and other states are working on. There are a lot of other committees, there are a lot of other educational opportunities, but do yourself a favor and look into that. If you're a manager or decision maker in your agency, look at the group membership for both organizations, for NENA and APCO. It is a great way that you can get a lot of hands-on training, a lot of good forums, introduce your people to their peers outside of their agency. I think that's one of our weaknesses in the 911 industry is because of the hours and the overtime and the schedule that a lot of your people are working. You don't get the opportunity to network with other agencies, maybe your neighboring agencies, but across the state, other states that might be facing the same challenges as them. So please look at that. And I'm also happy to report, as Jason just confirmed for me, that I want to say last year, one of our goals was to reach 1,000 members. As of this morning, we're 1,001 members. I want to say we were around the 700 mark maybe a year ago. And I hope that shows that you guys have faith of us and see value in becoming a member. And I encourage you guys to continue to be involved. So moving on to the Wellness Committee, I will pass it to Ashley first.
This past month was filled with grief, but grace, as we were providing peer support across the central region. Lieutenant Tiffany Gibbs with Orange County Emergency Services passed away on August 22nd. Our thoughts and prayers are still with her family, her shift, and her center. We had a few members from our wellness team respond to Orange County, one being myself, to offer peer support, but also offer snacks. Thank you, APCO, for helping send those as well. On Monday, August 28th at 12:58 p.m., the first 911 call came into UNC Campus Police regarding a potential active shooter. The first officer arrived at 13:01 and an all clear was paged at 16:50. On this day, there were only two dispatchers, Corey Bodie and Susan Farrell. From the first call to the all clear, there were 1,112 total calls. 562 of them alone were just 911. On September 9th, Forsyth Deputy Austin Smith, Riddle Hoover, also known as Rudy, was killed in the line of duty due to a motor vehicle collision. He previously worked with Davidson County Sheriff's Office, and he served in the Army for 6 years and was currently actively serving as a reserve. His wife, Rachel, is a telecommunicator at Davidson County 911. Our thoughts and prayers are with her and her two daughters. On some good news, we still have the application process open for our wellness retreat in 2024. Myself as being a previous telecommunicator, but obviously in peer support, this was a great retreat last year. And I think it's something that as managers and supervisors, please get your people to at least look at the application. A lot of people are suffering in silence. Obviously, we know that stress and the job in itself, along with having families, has added a lot this year. And I think mental health is becoming at the forefront. So our applications are open, and thank you to the 911 board for helping this continue, but also for getting our wellness books out to everybody. We've received great feedback. It's actually been a privilege to see on social media the telecommunicators that are tagging us or being like, hey, I know you, thanks for doing this. I actually have a girl who works at High Point that I went to college with. And she sent me a message and was like, y'all are doing amazing things. So thank you. So if every manager in this room, my challenge to you is to please send an email out and say, look at this. Be there for your people, but also for yourselves. We're here for you too. But if you have any questions, the applications are open now until October 13th. We've extended it and we would love to see some more to look at. We wish we could accept everyone. But even though we can't accept everyone, we're still here for everybody. Myself, Kaylee, and Monica, Jason as our team lead, and everyone up here on this board will find help and have the connections if needed. That's all, Mr. President.
Just real quick, I want to add to the end of Ashley's report from the Wellness Committee. another shout out about the retreat. Managers, as Ashley alluded to there, you're also eligible to apply to come to the retreat. We encourage you to do so. This is not limited to your frontline telecommunicator staff, supervisors, QA, technical staff, anybody who works in PSAP. Whether you're answering the call or you're making tapes or you are experiencing all this through the secondary duties of your job, you are a part of this group. You're a part of our initiative. Please, as Ashley said, take care of yourselves as well as your teams. The only other thing I wanted to add was thus far, we have a number of sponsors for our wellness retreat, and just give those folks a quick thank you. Richmond Community College, the 3M Ranch, Southern Software, SBFI, Horizon Consoles, Davenport Group, Public Safety Group, Zach's Ladder and Hose Testing, and Concept Seating. We are still available, and the North Carolina 911 Board, as Ashley has already said, is also on that list. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for your support. We do accept donations throughout the year towards the wellness team and our wellness fund. That's what helps us get peers into dispatch centers after crisis, or when resources are needed. We also use those funds for a number of other things that we do to help telecommunicators, all the way down to helping folks pay co-pays when they need to see a clinician. So no small amount or no large amount is ever going to be turned away. Don't feel like if you see that the retreat sponsorship opportunities for meals or rooms just because they're full doesn't mean that it stops there. We need your help throughout the year to really pay this back to our community and help us get boots on the ground across the state. So I'll stop now. Thank you, Rain.
Awesome. One last thing, wellness related. You guys will be getting an email and seeing it sent out across our social media. Those of you who live kind of in and around the Greensboro area have probably already received an email from me. I know the APCO and the NENA board have both been pushing this out, but on November the 3rd, just outside Greensboro in McLeansville, North Carolina, at my home church, I've been able to get a license to the PTSD 911 documentary film that has been put together over the past couple of years. This was a documentary film to not only open up the opportunity for resources, but education around PTSD and the impacts of just daily business does to the human mind in public safety. This is an event that we are going to partner with NC LEAP and also several other peer support teams from the central part of the state, from Guilford County EMS and also Greensboro Fire Department. And we're going to kind of host a fellowship event with them. This is a completely free event. I am asking for people to RSVP through the Eventbrite link, so you'll see it go up on our social media page probably this afternoon. I'll get it over to Stephen or through your email. There's 400 available seats. It's been up for about a week or week and a half, and there are currently 88 people already registered, and it has not been sent out to Greensboro Fire, which I've asked the chief there to hold off because he's offered all of his employees 3 hours of overtime to come watch the movie, which that will fill up the seats very quickly. So if you guys are interested in coming, please check our Facebook page or check your email. We would love to have you. The other thing I will say is we will be showing this around the state a couple times throughout the next year or so, possibly at the conference as well. Conrad Weaver, who is the director of this film, will also be on site November the 3rd for any kind of questions or to talk with people who are just curious about how this documentary film was put together. So I'm excited to kind of play host to that in my small hometown there, but want to make sure that all of you guys are welcome. One final addition to the National NENA report. Melanie was waiting on some information. National NENA just sent us an email to let us know not only is North Carolina with over 1,000 members, but National NENA is now over 20,000 members at 20,760 members. So that's a really big achievement. That was a big national goal for them, which just shows how well that they are working together, and a lot of these initiatives are really paying off. So Melanie, make sure you pass it to the rest of the board that we're very appreciative to them. All right, Jameson, information on the communications and operations degree from Richmond Community College.
So first, we actually had ended up with 51 total students in the program for this first semester. And with all the people reaching out, wanting to take it, just didn't get in time. All the 911 core classes will be offered in the spring semester, and registration will open October 19th for that. We will also have 2 more informational sessions like we had before on October 3rd and October 5th. And we'll be on the Richmond website and Facebook, and we'll be pushing that out also. That's it.
All right, last piece of business, and then we'll break for a short intermission as APCO comes up. One of the things that North Carolina NENA has talked about over the last couple of years is really recognizing our first responders who have kind of went through the battle recently. So before I read what I'm about to read, I want to remind all directors and anyone in the room, if you guys hear of a telecommunicator, a shift, an agency, or anything who has had a tough time or really prevailed through a rough incident, went above and beyond the call of duty, please let us know about it. We want to recognize these individuals as first responders. We don't need to wait on the state to reclassify us. We can treat ourselves like first responders from today. And part of that is to make public recognition public. Christine, would you like to step up here while I read this? I know this is close to your heart. Lori, can you and Susan hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Before I read this, I used to work with Corey and Susan down at UNC Chapel Hill, and these 2 individuals are probably 2 of the best dispatchers for this situation when it hit. Corey and Susan were on shift at UNC Chapel Hill on August 29th when a shooting took place in the laboratory building on campus, killing a professor. As Ashley mentioned earlier, during the 3-hour incident, Corey and Susan fielded 1,112 calls, with over half being 911 calls. That's 2 individuals. Corey and Susan were true examples of how training will prepare you for when it happens, not if it happens. That was a direct quote off Corey's Facebook later that day. So Corey and Susan, as 2 friends and former coworkers, thank you for being awesome. I don't think people realize the pressure you guys are under on a daily basis when you have 60,000 teenagers on campus who might have never heard emergency sirens before, who have never heard a gun fired before, who have never seen a swarm of police officers come flying through campus at the speed that they come through campus. Thank you for being awesome. I know that all of your officers that you were working with that day have praised you. I have seen it. I have heard it. So I want to acknowledge you guys. I want to thank you for being good representation of North Carolina 911. And I also want to ask Christine if she will just kind of share a little bit about this as well as a parent of a student from UNC.
Yeah, so Corey and Susan, I know you guys have heard a lot of accolades from field responders. I don't think that you have quite gotten the feedback from a parent of a child who was locked in an office of a teacher 2 buildings away. The words really aren't going to come until you have your child locked down in a room where something is happening. And in fact, 2 days ago, when they had the armed subject again, she was in the building where that armed subject was. Until you have a child texting you, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but until you have your child texting you and saying, I'm scared, I'm alone, and I'm scared, you will never know the impact of an event like this. Corey and Susan, you guys stepped up beyond recognition. You had those children notified of what was happening so quickly. And, you know, we teach active shooter to schools and we teach them what to do, but we don't take into consideration the human factor. Public safety, we're trained to be tough and we're trained to react. That's not the everyday person's reaction. And you don't know how somebody will react until it actually happens. And so, you know, teachers, may have remembered what to do. They may not have even remembered their name. It just depends on the person. And so I think things went very well, especially considering you don't get the opportunity to do these live drills very often. So Corey and Susan, thank you very much. Thank you to whomever was working 2 days ago with that event as well. I'm glad to say my daughter's physically okay. Mentally, we're going to work on that. But I know the school's providing a lot of resources, but I'm going to cut it short, but just thanks won't even begin to cover it. My mama heart can't take much more, but I love you guys from the bottom of my heart and appreciate everything that you did.
Awesome. You guys could join me in giving Corey and Susan a big round of applause. Thank you. Corey and Susan, thanks for joining us today. Again, proud to call you friends, and thanks for being awesome and setting the bar high. So, is there anything you guys would like to say before I wrap up? Corey or Susan, if you can still hear us.
Thank you for recognizing us. It was a difficult situation, and I'm glad there was as few injured as there were.
Awesome. Well, it was, it's nice to be able to tell friends and family that I know had children and loved ones on campus that the two of the best dispatchers I know were there manning that situation. So thanks again for what you do. All right, I will open it to the floor for any comments or questions for the NENA board or anything else from the board before we adjourn the meeting.
On our website, there is the link to request to join the new Google distribution list. If you haven't already done so, go to our ncnena.org website and request to be on that new distribution list. Also reminding with that, those that were already existing NENA users, to make sure your email address is updated on the actual NENA website as well. Because I know a lot of agencies are switching to like a .gov email address, so just make sure you guys are updating that as well.
In addition to that, just trying to get the communication out to people. So I sent out to the Western region, and I'm sure the other reps. So I sent out to the Western region, and I'm sure the other representatives do the same, but we're looking to gather not only your contact information, but your surrounding PSAP and non-funded PSAP information so that we can get information out to those guys. There's these little centers. I mean, actually, Charlotte is an example. It really has nothing to do with 911 per se, but it's important to get that information out to them. Same thing with the Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians. It's just from a different pot, and the more information we get out, the more we can prepare these other agencies for events that happen, such as at the UNC Chapel Hill campus. Thank you.
All right. With that being said, I'll take a motion to adjourn the meeting. Second.
Second.
Thank you so much. We'll take about a 10 or 15 minute recess as we swap meetings, and then Tim will kind of cover back over some quick logistics.
The USC came in after I made the original announcement. When you go out the two double doors, restrooms are to your right, and there's some coffee makers and ice dispensers to your left in the room. So.
Thanks for running what's needed.
Yep, no problem.
Right.
I got the address.